My friends, the big test of life is being consistent. It's not the big things that get us, but rather the dailiness of. Life that makes us tired. I used to have a small sign that said, don't miss the beautiful gift. You can see it's simple to miss the moment. Unmindful of the chances before us. And the sad truth is that so often people get sidetracked. The days turn into weeks, and the weeks into months, and the months into years before. They know it, their life has slipped away. From them, the great human task is to keep yourself steady and on track. For your dreams and goals, it's so easy to get busy, to settle for less than you're capable of or to. Wait until your ambitions wither away unsatisfied, but I'm here to tell you today that you absolutely must force yourself to be steady if you want to make the most of your life and reach your full. Promise, I'll say it again, force yourself. I don't just mean try hard or put forth effort when it's handy. I mean being relentless and unwavering in your skills, doing the things you know you should do, even when you don't feel like it, because drive and inspiration, as strong as they are fleeting the energy and excitement you feel after hearing a great speech or being struck by a great idea soon fades if you don't back it up with constant action. You need solid routines and habits to propel you forward every day towards your view, even when the thrill is gone. You can't let a lack of drive be an excuse to slack off and undo all your hard work that, my friends, is the way to. Mediocre to avoid that siren song of giving up and settling. You must steal your strength and force yourself to keep going day after day after day. It's much like staying physically fit. You can't just go to the gym once and expect to stay in shape forever after that. Building your body into something great takes consistent effort, eating the right foods, working out intensely and frequently over months and years. It's a never-ending loop of focus, and you can be sure that anyone you admire for their fitness had to force themselves many times just to keep up the grueling exercise the same. Maybe you dream of being a business and building a business empire. Well, I can promise you it won't come easily. There will be countless times you want to slack off, take steps, or just give up. Totally the only way to make it through the coming storms is being so consistent with your daily automatic a force, discipline. That stability keeps you on track when your motivation flags, or perhaps you wish to master a skill like playing an instrument, artistic painting, or professional martial arts. Maybe you want to become a polyglot, fluent in many different languages. I can promise you these kinds of skills take years and years of painstaking, consistent practice to truly master. Any prodigy you admire for their abilities put in hours upon hours of work when others were slacking. Their consistency split them from the wannabes. The hardest thing in the world is to force yourself daily to keep doing the same tedious tasks that no one sees or respects. Yet that's why so few people ever become truly great at something they simply don't have the perseverance and consistency to see it through the years of obscurity in the beginning. But those who do, they're generously rewarded with fulfilling their greatest ambitions, while most are settling for far now. Any habit worth keeping helps me be steady, but nothing has been more valuable than keeping my daily routine of reading. Not just reading for pleasure, but serious study of the stories, autobiographies, ideas, and teachings of the most amazing people in history. It's how I shape my mindset, sharpen my wit, and continually remind myself of the timeless facts and ideals that have guided humanity's highest achievers. I read every single day, without fail, first thing in the morning, when my mind is valuable for at least an hour before doing anything else. I force myself to this habit even when I'm tired even when I'm busy, even when I'm moving or on vacation over decades. That everyday consistency is paid incredible rewards as the wisdom contained in those thousands of books gets permanently inscribed into my psyche to guide my thoughts and acts. So start a morning reading. Ritual yourself, no matter how small, and start it ferociously, because those little disciplines you keep religiously, like reading just 15, 30 minutes per day, to start will soon grow into an unbreakable, consistent practice that produces outstanding effects in your life. Another, constancy that gives me strength to spending valuable time with my family. I'm generally not one for mere joys and idle recreation, but having those traditions and bonding times with my loved ones is sacrosanct usual date. Night with my wife where we reconnect have kept our marriage strong for decades, playing sports or just having fun with my grandkids nurtures those precious ties that fulfill me like nothing else I force myself to balance, working hard in business with being present for my family duties and making memories with them consistently. It keeps me grounded and my goals straight, and I can promise you at the end of your life, and it's not going to be your job, accomplishments you cherish most, but rather the depth of love you build with your family. So force that tender consistency into your life too, you know. The older I get, the more I appreciate the people, events, and simple joys that bring richness to life, laying on a green hill and staring up at the stars at night, feeling the size and beauty of the sky we float in, taking a long walk and being present with the sights, sounds, and smells of nature, sipping a good cup of coffee in the morning quiet while writing my thoughts and plans for the day. These understated, timeless habits I do every single day without fail. They keep me anchored to what really matters, not just work and chasing ambitions, but actually being alive and human amid all the chaos. So look for those sacred breaks in your own days where you can breathe and be peaceful and present, then force yourself to never let them go, no matter what life must have. A balance. Now I want you to notice the common thread here of forcing consistency with my morning reading, with being there for my family, with never losing those little humanizing traditions that keep me whole, friends. It's these focused, non-negotiable routines and habits that provide the very organized to reach our boldest goals while also enjoying the journey of life, because you know what happens when you lose stability and let everything become a whimsical, random daily routine decided solely by motivation levels. You get derailed, you have some good days, but they're always followed by slumps where you undo your progress, you live life in a maddening cycle of feeling motivated, working hard for a short burst, burning out, then having to start over again once. You feel remotive. It's a trap that stops any kind of cumulative, sustainable growth. But those who force relentless consistency in their principles, despite how they feel in any given moment, create amazing upward momentum in their lives that just keeps on going. With the right habits locked in as automatic, you make progress daily. Through the ups and downs, your skills improve slowly, your work compounds. Year after year, your goals get consistently chipped away, and in big dreams gradually turn into realities, all thanks to loyal consistency. The magic truly lies in those small rules you refuse to settle, no matter what your life today is simply the sum amount of your habits and routines up until this point. So start adding new positive routines and stick to them unwaveringly while chipping away at your bad ones. It's the way to redesigning your life from the ground up into the masterpiece you dream about. And the good news, habits are formed through repeat, but they can absolutely be reshaped and changed through even more repeat of new. So don't tell me you're stuck in your current ways. You most certainly can force new consistency upon yourself at any point. If you're totally uncompromising about It just starts small with something very basic. You can absolutely follow. Through on consistently without fail for 2 straight weeks, like flossing every night after brushing your teeth, or doing 50 push-ups right after waking up. Every morning it may seem small at first, but you are ingraining a pattern of consistency into your life, one day at a time. Once you nail that down for 2 full weeks, add another new habit, and another you build new stability on top of each small win, gradually raising your demands of yourself. The compound effect of making just one changes day over the long haul is what helps ordinary people to blossom into extraordinarily successful and self-actualized human people. I'll give you an example of how this works from my own youth. You see, I wasn't born into money or anything close to success in. In fact, my family didn't even own a refrigerator when I was young. We had an icebox. Things were quite hard growing up. But I had an idea for something far bigger for my life than just fighting to get by. I forced little Wham changes into my days, one after another year. After a year in high school, most of my peers were happy being C students, but I decided that wasn't good enough for me. So every morning before school, when my friends were still sleeping late, I forced myself into a new routine of reviewing the previous night's lessons for an hour starting at 5 a.m. Was it flashy or fun? Definitely not, but that. One improvement in my dependability. Learning made all the difference, and I became in a student where I was once average. Then in college, I took it a step further while all my friends partied hard every weekend and slept in hungover. Come Monday, I denied myself that lifestyle and got up at 4 a.m. instead to study for 3 hours before. Classes even started a small sacrifice. But my persistence paid off massively by graduation, when I was in the top of my class with a great GPA, my E1 daily. Improvements of over 4 years made me one of the stable, disciplined elite in my peer group. After college, I knew my deep hunger for learning and growth. Couldn't be happy with just formal education alone, so forced a lifelong ritual of daily reading and study, which I described earlier into my plan. No matter how busy my life and job got, I was utterly brutal about blocking off that morning reading time for at least an hour or 2 every single day without fail to keep compounding my knowledge and ideas. Was it easy? Of course not. Pushing that discipline was often uncomfortable in the moment while my friends and coworkers were sleeping. In starting their days later, I had to drag myself out of bed to read voraciously before sunrise, day after day after day. But looking back now, that commitment to regular daily reading and learning planted the seeds for all of my future success. You see, I figured out very early that extraordinary people don't accomplish great things through random, haphazard attempts. They reach their full ability through the power of relentless daily training rituals and habits, through forcing consistency upon themselves, no matter what those small, unsexy daily tasks and habits are. What actually move the biggest ambitions in life from dreams into truth. The magic catalyst is simply your ability to show up and improve your days through repeat of the basics are important. I'm talking about forcing consistency in your workouts, in your study of your craft, in your spiritual food, through prayer or meditation, and whatever skills you're trying to improve in your rest and recovery routines too, friends. Succeed at the top levels truly is that simple and also that difficult. That's why so few ever achieve it. They don't have the persist help to force themselves through the unrewarding periods in the beginning before the universe opens up for them. The biggest thing you can do right now to see the goals and highest potential bloom is to stop looking for motivation to strike. Rather, commit and prepare yourself to show up and perform each day, no matter what. I know the easy daily acts don't seem that important or noticeable. It's not exciting to force yourself to wake up early and read, or to build a body of Work one brick at a time. It's not fun to. Force consistency in the basics that nobody sees day after day, year after year. But I promise you, my friends, it's that level of stubborn daily discipline that separates the extraordinary from the everyday, you know. All the teachers and great leaders and accomplished stars you admire, they're not superhuman beings from a different world. They've simply realized the true power that lies in putting together lives of those little ones. Improvements day over day by, forcing their consistency to daily. Basics, even when it's awkward, their capabilities. Compound over the long haul into something amazing while the rest stay stagnant. So I ask you today to look at your own life with relentless honesty. What truly important disciplines, habits, and habits are you willing to force into your days regularly from now on? No matter how you feel in the moment, how will you stop giving in to whims and distractions and instead chip away at your highest potential through the sheer power of persistent everyday habits? Ponder that, write it down, then hold yourself to that new standard without excuse or exception. The path has been laid out. You know what needs to be done. It really comes down to, will you have the internal grit to force consistency upon yourself even when you don't want to? Will you make the choice right here or right now to be utterly uncompromising and optimizing and spending your days properly going forward? Friends, I believe in you. I believe you have what it takes. You come from greatness, and your life story can be a great one. You just need to do the work, put the reps in, and enforce the steadiness that will make it all inevitable. Start today in rededicating yourself to your highest ideal and most ambitious visions. But understand, it won't come from random efforts. It will only appear through relentless daily routines and disciplines. Bring forth that iron drive and grit to force discipline upon yourself in the places that matter most, no matter how tough or tedious it feels sometimes. I promise you it gets easier when the habits take root, and over time forcing consistency in the basics becomes your greatest source of strength, the basis upon which your legacy and life's work gets built. So let's commit together right now to installing new levels of hard, unwavering consistency into our lives. I ask you to imagine and write down your new non-negotiable daily tasks and habits for physical health, brain sharpness, emotional rootedness, and your unique pursuits. And from this day forward, we force ourselves and each other to uphold those sacred tasks. No matter what we are, relentless we will not waver or make excuses. Soon these new forced consistencies become joyous habits that inspire us. They put the blinders on and drown out whatever smaller temptations try to derail us. The compound effect gets triggered, and our skills start rapidly expanding. And as we stay ever persistent on that path, life truly expands into the richly satisfying experience we always dreamed it could be. So what are you waiting for? My friends, let's get started changing our lives through the awesome power of forcing uniformity upon ourselves. Our greatest ambitions await, my friends. I know at times forcing consistency on yourself will feel like a mighty struggle, the easy road of giving into laziness and picking comfort over. Growth will constantly beckon you. Believe me, I'm personally familiar with that internal fight between pushing yourself to new heights versus settling for failure. It rages within all of us. But I'm here to tell you the pain is totally worth it. In fact, it's a necessity if you want to ascend beyond the people and unlock your highest powers. You see, life naturally has a pulling force that wants to keep you stuck in inertia, repeating the same old routines and living in a sleepwalk. But extraordinary people are those who fight against that undertow with every ounce of grit and control they can muster. It's like climbing a mountain. My friends, from the base looking up at the huge summit, it can feel utterly scary and hopeless. Your mind floods with questions and reasons why you shouldn't even try. The easy thing is to stop before you start. But those who build the mental fortitude to take that first tough step up the mountain, and then the next, and the next, after that, they're the ones who get to watch the breathtaking view from the top. That makes all the effort. Important, so let me be clear. Forcing regularity upon yourself won't be easy. There will be many days and times when giving up feels so tempting, when sticking to your new habits is a grind, and you want to slide back into your old cozy ways. This is the make or break point for most people when they meet the first real pushback to change, and they accept it as justification to abandon the new standards and resigns. Elves to live at a fraction of their promise, but you, my friends, must decide. You're no longer willing to succumb to that road of mediocrity you're going to. Devils of laziness, procrastination, and fear through sheer relentless consistency of effort, the discomfort you feel in sticking to the new positive habits despite wanting to quit is simply the feeling of you expanding your identity and becoming more than you've ever been before. That's the price you must pay to join the ranks of the world's elite athletes and achievers. They push through the grind and force themselves to show up over and over again through sheer discipline until the hard work started to feel natural, until their habits changed from struggle into ease and a new level became their usual herding mod. This is how human people evolve and elevate themselves, not by playing it safe and always bound to short-term comforts and pleasures, but by boldly charging into the problems that cause you to grow, learn, and upgrade as a person. So when you feel that urge to skip a day of studying, training, or making because it seems too hard, view it as an introduction into your own greatness. The more you can make the hard choice that raises you rather than the easy one that keeps you small, the more you prove your willingness to take your skills to the highest levels. This is the stuff winners are made of, my friends, the people you admire most in the world, tapping into that inner reserve to force consistency upon themselves no matter what. Let their example light the way for you. And remember the pain of consistent effort is always temporary, while the sorrow of giving up on your dreams lasts forever when you choose temporary discomfort through hard work and steadfast standards. You're investing in your power and building the foundation to make works that will be admired for generations. When you procrastinate, you trade away your own greatness. So fight that inner war, my friends. Vanquish your fears and urges that want you to stay small. Vow to the world your worthiness of a powerful, impactful, and important life. Then force yourself to uphold the best standards and routines each day, without fail, through stubborn consistency, because freedom only comes to those ready to impose that level of daily self-discipline. My own forced stability spanned decades before my beliefs finally started touching millions worldwide. If you had seen me when I was just getting started, it would have looked like a lonely man toiling away in complete isolation through the unglamorous, arduous daily tasks of studying, writing, speaking, moving, and practice. I'm sure there were many times friends and family thought I was spending my time, or being foolishly stubborn. Why keep putting in all of that effort with no returns yet? Why not just relax, have fun, and stop hurting myself? Chasing impossible dreams the way I trudged was unrewarding for an eternity, until suddenly all that piled wisdom and skills I honed over decades through forced stability started materializing something world-changing. But my friends, I never would have reached those heights if I allowed myself to be stopped or talked out of it. Along the way, it took an uncompromising internal courage to keep forcing myself to show up day after dull day, to put in the work. There's no other way I achieve what I have, and now, having been seen the miraculous harvest after continuing so Constantly, for so long, I can truly say, the fight was more than worth it, so draw strength from that as you force your own necessary consistency upon yourself now. You too will face endless times of toiling away in darkness where it feels hopeless before the magic happens. You too will question whether your dreams are worth suffering the grind for a while. You too wish to slack off because you can't yet see the big picture happening. Shape, but please, my dear friends, trust the process like I did know that as long. As you refuse to quit or compromise your best habits and routines, the inevitably kick in where it seems like an overnight success from the outside. Have the perseverance and grit to power through the unrewarding early work, and the skies will have no choice but to increasingly open for you. So let that fuel you when things get tough. Let it strengthen your desire to keep moving ahead, putting the reps in, and improving your days through strict routines. It may seem like a steep mountain to climb at first, but I promise you the view from the top of achieving your goals and unlocking your fullest ability makes every single battle absolutely worth it. It's the grandest earned prize and most powerful feeling to take command over your destiny like that, and you'll only get there by having the mental discipline to force consistency on yourself daily, no matter what life throws your way. So stay hard on yourself. My friends, keep showing up and doing the work ceaselessly. Demand more from yourself each day than the last. Etch those new good habits into your nerve system through brute force. Repeat if you have to, because the truth is the person you dream of, becoming that future self you picture. As confident, powerful, spiritual, and wildly successful, they don't actually exist yet. You only have the current version that needs to force itself through all the difficulties and remain resolutely consistent in building that future one day by day. By day, there are no shortcuts, just concentrated work over the long game. So view everything you do through that lens going forward. Each morning, you wake up sticking to your new habits. You're sculpting another brush stroke onto that creative session you power through. You're bringing that vision a little closer to reality every time you resist an urge for instant satisfaction, to instead stay consistent with your highest habits and skills. You're laying another brick of that fantasy life you crave. It's a boring process, I know, but what's the option to be one of the masses who peaked in high school and settled for a smaller, mediocre life? Friends, I know you want far more for yourselves than that. So choose the path of the top and force greater uniformity upon yourself. As the entrance price, I promise the rewards both internally and internationally that come from that level of relentless daily self-discipline are unlike anything else you can think to look back one day and see how your steady habits, routines, and traditions elevated your character and consciousness to staggering new heights to experience glimpses of working in that rarefied and state of peak human performance that so few ever witness. This is the fate awaiting all those willing to do what the people can't or won't, which is force themselves through challenges again and again and again with perfect accuracy until it breaks through into success. So make it happen. My friends, the future you dream of can absolutely become a reality through that stubborn grit of forced consistency across every area of life and over into an extremely long time. Just stay committed and never ever stop trying. Onward, your highest goals and a beautiful vision await you.